views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users, on demand on iTunes and on YouTube, and on my blog, GaryBaumgartner.com, where you are encouraged to post your comments whether you agree with yours truly or not. And thanks to our friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're syndicated across the United States into 12 million additional households. I'm your host, Gary Baumgarten. Well, my guest today, I'm very privileged to say, is Aaron Brown. You remember him as anchor at CNN. In fact, his first day on the air was on September the 11th, 2001. He took the hot seat on what arguably was CNN's finest hour, covering the tragic attacks on the United States in New York City, in Pennsylvania, and in Washington, D.C. For hours and for days, he was on a rooftop overlooking the smoldering ruins of Ground Zero over his shoulder as the cameras trained on him, and in a very quiet and calming manner brought to us CNN's coverage of that tragic day in a way that elicited information for us, but did not panic us beyond where we were quite naturally panicked. Because, of course, it's not the news media's job, in my opinion, and I believe in Aaron Brown's opinion, to keep throwing headlines at us, breaking news now, horrible new developments, et cetera, like that. I guess, Aaron Brown, unfortunately, you were not controversial enough, given the CNN that I was known to love and work at the same time. I was the bureau chief for CNN Radio, as you probably know, in New York at the same time. Things have changed. Now we've got Nancy Grace screaming, guilty, guilty, guilty. And we've got MSNBC saying, caught on tape. It's turned into more form and less substance, in my opinion, and I presume you feel so as well. And from what I can see, now that you're at PBS's Wide Angle, you're able to cover the stories that you were promised you would cover when you came over to CNN from ABC, and I'm so happy for you about that. Welcome to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com.
Thanks. Nice of you to have me. Yeah, appreciate it. I know there were a lot of things in there. I don't know quite where to start. The PBS experience this summer has been fabulous. I'm proud of the program. I love the staff of the program, the energy and the idealism they bring to covering global issues, which doesn't get a whole lot of attention from media generally, cable, broadcast, newspapers, what have you. So in the realm of contemporary television, it's certainly unusual, if not unique, and it's been a great experience. And all of these outlets, whether it's cable or broadcast or PBS or whatever, they all serve a different need and a different niche. And I'm not sure that there's much to be gained by beating up on one or the other. They all have a reason to be. They all have an audience they seek. They all go about seeking the audience in the way they seek it. And it's pretty evident, or self-evident, I think, what the point is in most cases.
Yes, but we all entered this business with a bit of idealism, and we all get water thrown in our face occasionally, I guess. And yeah. I don't want to beat up on our mutual alma mater. That's not my point. But the fact is, when I came to CNN, I came up looking at the way Ted Turner's vision was, and that was that the story was the star, not the anchor. The anchor was the star. The story was the star, and he was, for all of his wisdom and forethought and visionary. I think he was a visionary, and his is a little bit of craziness mixed in there as well. I agreed with that, and that's what attracted me to CNN. And I think that by the time you and I left, things had changed, and I think for the cable networks, it has changed tremendously, not just CNN.
Well, I mean, first of all, was Ted a visionary? Absolutely. I mean, you know, and that's not a word anybody throws around lightly. He absolutely was. Secondly, I think it is, first of all, the last thing I'm really interested in doing in life is being an apologist for CNN. I mean, I have no reason to do that. But when Ted put the network on the air, and when Ted talked about the news as the star and all of that, it was a monopoly business. There was no Fox, there was no MSNBC, there was no internet. He had a monopoly business, and it's a lot easier to, believe me, in anything, it's a lot easier if you're the monopoly. What I would say generally about CNN, and then we can move on to anything else you want to talk about, I'm happy to talk about it, is that to me, and that's all it is, it's just my view of it, is that it's incredibly uneven. Sometimes, last week, for example, they did two terrific, or one terrific documentary over 2 nights, or 2 terrific documentaries, however you want to look at it. But it really well done, very relevant on race in the country, and it's something they can be proud of and should be proud of. And I hope they are. On the other hand, they do a lot of stuff that's junky, because there's an audience for junky. So, you know, is it 100% one thing or another? It's not. It's a kind of complicated business of trying to find eyeballs. Sometimes you find them in ways you don't necessarily feel great about, or absolutely don't feel great about. And other days you do terrific journalism, and you find out that people will come to that because their documentaries on race did a really good number. So, you know, it's not simple business. It's a hard business. Is it a perfect business? No.